We are here today to receive step 2 from our dear master teacher, Yogananda. This is very exciting. It's, to me, the simplicity of this process is really what is needed in this world right now, where in your mind, with your consciousness, you can just go through a very simple process. Anyone can do this, and it is extremely effective. And the reason for the simplicity really is because this is a whole new age. And it has really very little to do with the year itself, but it has so much to do with our new place within the galaxy. We are in a beautiful galaxy, and not many people really think about it. Not many people think about the fact that we are in a solar system. So you are thinking about this, which is very important. How could we not think about this big space that we are part of? And it's really interesting when you look at our civilization. We have been through a lot, as not just this civilization, which has been around for about 12,000 years, but also the civilization before. And you see one trend, which is decrease in consciousness and increase in unconsciousness in the last civilization, which is us here. But we are here to reverse this, and we are getting so much help, and the help is coming from our galaxy, from our central spiritual sun, and the help is coming from all the sources of light, including our own sun. And so one thing that this civilization did, which was really unfortunate, is to forget nature. And when you forget nature, you really forget the true divinity. True divinity is not that guy in the sky. I don't know who he is, some kind of Anunnaki god. But the true divinity is in cosmic Mother Nature. That's where she is. And so that means she's in all that you understand to be nature. And that means that the greatest divinity is hidden, but also not so hidden, in all that we know to be nature. And we have to expand our understanding of nature. What is nature? Is it just what you see around here in this world and you call it trees and grass and flowers? It's so much more. And when a mystic listens deeply to the nature that is also within us, it's inside us, right? There's so much energy. Nature is a very energetic being, and nature is really the book of life. And it is this big book of life that we are meant to be hearing deeply inside of us and able to read it with our consciousness also within us, and then to take the right action. The right action. What is the right action? The right action is something I only experienced in the New Earth when I traveled to the New Earth. That's where people actually take the right action all the time. And it doesn't come from some, rules. There are no rules. It doesn't come from morality. Morality is obsolete when all beings live from the heart, because that is where all beings will be living once again when this process is complete. So what I have learned from the New Earth, from the visitations, is that all beings will be living truly, truly, truly from the one center that is the most important center that we all have, and that is the energetic heart, the sacred heart, the Christed heart, where all beings become all love, and that also means all beings become all consciousness. Yesterday I mentioned on the call, consciousness equals love. And the more we expand consciousness, the more loving we become. So it has very little to do with the skills and abilities that we can have, like, levitation or being able to manifest miracles. Anyone who understands energy can do it. But for me and all the beings that I work with, love is the ultimate consciousness. And that is the right relationship. The right relationship with divinity is the right relationship with cosmic nature, and that is love. Love is the right relationship. And what went so wrong in this civilization is that there was exploitation, and there is still exploitation taking place. And you can see the exploitation of nature that we all understand is actually not the right relationship with the divinity beneath our feet and in the air that we breathe. And so when you have a civilization that suddenly falls out of the right relationship and thinks that they can just exploit, then that leads always to what I would call collapse. Where there is no consciousness, you have collapse, you have disease, you have degradation. And so you and me came into this world to reverse this. And we cannot reverse it by fighting, because that's also unconsciousness. We reverse it by stepping into the right relationship with nature. And we do it because we remember who we are. We remember that, for example, that beautiful Buddhist philosophy, cause no harm to no part of life. That's very, very important. No harm to no part of life. That's just the beginning of all things, because how could we harm another part of life when we are all part of the same cosmic body? And so there's much that will change for us. And you are the change makers here. You are the ones who came to remember what God is, what Divine Mother is, what our role is, and how to be in that right relationship with all of it. Let me just turn off the videos here, you guys, for you. You don't need your video. Today we will be embarking upon, well, the next step. And the step is really, really powerful. And many of you already know exactly this step. It is connecting with the angelic realm. Now, I have much to say about the angelic realm. For me, that was kind of the introduction to higher dimensions. And again, I always assume that you all already are having experiences. You've already, been on this path, and you came into this world with equipment. And the equipment is the expanded consciousness that you brought with you. Because being in narrow consciousness leads to killing, leads to arguments, and leads to pain and suffering. But when we expand our consciousness, we become so unbelievably loving and so unbelievably compassionate and caring, and we don't need morality anymore. One thing that's very interesting, I always find that the Tao Te Ching, and the one that I always promote is the translation by Stephen Mitchell. It is, to me, the greatest book ever written about Divine Mother and about her nature. And I could have never understood the Tao Te Ching until I met Divine Mother, and until she gave me the teachings that I received from her, because then the Tao Te Ching suddenly makes so much sense. So for those of you who already are Taoists and are familiar with the Tao, then when you read the Tao Te Ching or you listen to it, it's free on YouTube. So the translation by Stephen Mitchell is so very beautiful. It is to the true understanding of the Tao, the Divine Mother. Divine Mother is the Tao. She is the cosmic Mother Nature. So when you read it or listen to it, always think this is all about the cosmic Mother Nature. And that's what Lao Tzu was speaking about. So one thing to understand, that when we surrender to her, which is a very mystical state of being, all things are actually repaired. And all the damage done to this world can be reversed when enough beings surrender. That means something so mystical. That means that you say, your will be done, but you do it in a way that actually you allow yourself to be a vessel through which she can flow. And I always say Divine Mother is the animating force. She moves us. And not only does she move us physically, because she likes when we move. That's why all, the beautiful practices we have. Movement is very important, just as stillness, but there's also stillness in movement. So when we start flowing with her, she always takes us to the next best. And that is her principle. Her principle is not suffering or pain. That is just the result of human unconsciousness. But when we allow her to move through us, she will move us to greatness. The recording of yesterday and today will be available today. I also made the practice for today, which I posted on YouTube. So everything will be on YouTube, but also I will send an email with the links to that if you don't know where the YouTube is. But when we do these practices with Yogananda, what do? We are simply allowing ourselves to remember the right relationship with nature. And I asked her this morning again what she wanted to talk about, because it's great. She talks to all of us, Divine Mother. She talks to every single one of us. Ideally, we want to be able to hear, which means attunement, deep attunement. Deep attunement. So how do we attune? Well, the basics. We have all these wonderful philosophies. We have all these wonderful teachings. But one thing you will notice, that most of these teachings have been given to humanity during the last 12,000 years. And why is that? Well, it is because the last 12,000 years have been the most painful for us as humanity, the very dark ages. And what happened during these dark ages? Well, we disconnected from nature, and instead we introduced things like money, and it created needs. And we didn't realize that our needs can only be fulfilled by the right relationship with our cosmic mother nature, and that we are creator beings, and creator beings perform miracles all the time. And so miracles is our nature. Our true nature was to be able to take the energy that comes from source, also take the energy that is emanated through our Divine Mother here in this world, through planet Earth, and we would create using this energy. So this is something that I remember doing actually when we were in Mu, the first civilization. We absolutely were the masters of life force. And today we have still several native tribes that still are understanding this life force. A lot of knowledge got lost, of course. And it got lost because the Earth herself lost her rainbow body that she had, and she lost her own alignment, and she lost her own light, and also our planetary grid, which is really the health of the Earth, was distorted. So it's hard to be healthy in an unhealthy world, really. When everything around you is distorted, it's really hard to keep, the presence of God within you and to be fully connected. But that's why we have all these teachings to bring us back, to bring us back, to bring us back. So the fun thing is that we have all these teachings for the last 12,000 years. Is the audio okay? I see. Is it skipping? It's okay. Good. Okay. So we had all these teachings, and we had all these teachings just to restore us, to bring us back to reason. And I mean, reason is not the mind that we have today, the intellectual mind. Actually, the reason is the reasonable relationship with our true nature, which is cosmic mother nature. And reasonable relationship was very difficult the last 12,000 years because of the big distortion of our mind. So the mind actually got split. So in a way, we all experience this nonsensical mind, which just randomly comes up with thoughts that we don't even want to be thinking. And it kind of brings up 70,000 thoughts in one day, which is incredible. And very few of them are thoughts that you would select yourself. And thank you so much, everyone in the chat, for guiding and also sharing and showing how to do what and where things are. That's very helpful. Thank you. And so you can think we had some very basic problem, and that is the mind. We forgot how to think like a divine being. Divine beings do not think like we do as humanity. And so they came here and they said, oh, first you need to master your mind, empty the mind, stop, allowing it to be just so random and so unconscious. So that was just a technique that was given to us the last 12,000 years because we were in trouble. And so today we will be receiving new teachings because we're coming into a new age. We're coming into an age in which the mind doesn't work that way anymore. one thing that is really important to realize: when I travel out of body, I always travel wherever my highest self takes me. So, not the ego self, but the highest self. So then you visit different parallel realities, you visit higher dimensions also, and you learn so much. And when you come back, you come back with knowledge and realizations, of course, that are always useful. And so when I travel to these civilizations that are highly evolved, for example, they all mimic nature. It's very interesting. They all do the right thing, which is always study nature, have as much nature as possible around you, because she is constantly emanating upgrades into us. And when we get rid of nature, I grew up in Europe, and there are cities that don't have trees, especially, like when you look at, for example, I don't know, like old cities, built by the Romans, they just took all the trees down and all they had was stone, and then how are you meant to be upgraded if that nature cannot even get to a human being? And so the thing that the civilization did is to remove humans from nature. And so then we are not constantly upgraded. The upgrades always come from nature. Nature is the one upgrading divine force in all worlds. And so the higher you go, and I don't know if you guys travel to higher dimensions, but they always will have as much nature as possible, and everything will be integrated into nature. And I don't, tell fairy tales here. This is all stuff that, exists, and you can visit and you can see it for yourself. When people do visualization videos for going to, I don't know, the angelic realm, which is what we're going to do today, everybody's describing the crystals, the clear water, the beautiful flowers, the birds, the animals, the children, And so we do get upgraded from the sun as well. But actually the body of nature is the number one activator. So we get upgraded from the galaxy, we get upgraded from the cosmos, we get upgraded. Everything that is evolving here is a cosmic story. We are part of a cosmos. And so everyone in cosmos is receiving this information through cosmic mother nature. When she wants to evolve, she evolves. And of course, on planet Earth, we had that issue where we were not evolving. And so every time when the opportunity came for a major evolution, which we call ascension, only very few beings were able to actually make that shift because of the level of unconsciousness and the disconnect from nature. We had ancient civilizations here before us who understood all of this. And so what did they do? They studied nature night and day. They built all the structures according to nature. They aligned everything they did with nature. And so that is one way to live. And that's what we're going to do again when we go to the new earth. The new earth already is fully aligned with nature, and humans are just part of it instead of what we have here, the reversed. Another thing that happened on planet Earth, and it is still happening, and I want to actually mention that because that was important to Divine Mother this morning, was technology. We have technology and we call it artificial intelligence. Well, artificial intelligence obviously is not the intelligence of nature. So there are very advanced worlds that you can visit, and the ones that I visit, they always use nature to be the highest intelligence, and they mimic her and they just do what nature does. And that creates miracles, that creates everything that you could possibly imagine. So they don't have needs because they are fully provided by nature and all her energy. She is, after all, the one who sustains us, right? And people say we need this and that, but when we go to these higher dimensions, we don't need anything except for our connection to that nature. So today, as we go into the angelic queendom, this is a very powerful process given to us by Yogananda. Once again, this is not a visualization, and yet we use our mind to absolutely engage with these celestial images. And that's how we first enter these worlds. We first actually engage our ability to visualize, because that is how we create worlds. We create them through visualization, of course, because first we are architects, and architects use the mind to first create a vision. So we will be creating a vision. And so when we go to the angelic world, we will be aligning with nature's intelligence in our many bodies that we have, since we are multidimensional beings who have many different bodies. But for us, the bodies that really need the most alignment is the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the etheric, of course. And so in this world, we have a lot of artificial intelligence that is disconnected actually from the intelligence of nature. Some of it is good, some of it not so good. And some of it can be used wonderfully, and some of it also misused, of course. And so that's also the guidance that we always receive from our cosmic mother, is to really ponder and to guide, especially our children, because the children, as you know, they are the saints coming from the future. And when these saints come here, we don't want to immediately put an iPhone in their hand and sit them in front of a TV, which a lot of people do, unfortunately. But we want to take them to nature. So we need more nature for our children, nature schools, nature kindergartens. We need a very different educational system, which should be all about studying nature and being one with nature and understanding the geometries within her. So this is really important if you are a parent, to be vigilant and to understand what's going on here, and that nature will be the one speaking to us. This is a great gift to have, to speak to nature and to hear nature. And this is what our ancient people did. This is what some of the tribes that we still have, the native tribes, even though they also experience so much distortion, poor people. So Divine Mother, for example, so I come from a tribe spiritually, which is called the Hopi people. And I have a grandmother that is a Hopi grandmother from the stars. And she is one of my major guides, guiding this lifetime, but also many other beings from that tribe, so the Hopi tribe. So all my life, these Hopi people come to me and they teach me and guide me. But when Divine Mother started teaching me, she told me about another tribe that she wanted to mention and wanted actually to bring up, and that was Zuni people. And I know some of you actually already know the Zuni tribe. And this is very interesting. So some of these tribes have great knowledge of nature, and they have great remembrance of, for example, the end of Atlantis, the end of Mu. And many of these lineages have been here since the beginning of all things, and they remember. And that's pretty incredible. It is all within their DNA. And the DNA, of course, being the spiritual really library of information. And so the Zuni people have great knowledge of cosmic mother nature, and they have great stories about the end of Atlantis and how the rainbow serpent of creation came to save them when the flood came and brought them to safety. And so they have great worship for the rainbow serpent of creation, for example. As you know, that serpent may be to be Quetzalcoatl as well. So there are great stories that are actually not myths, but there are what we would call truth. And one word about truth, it's a big word. So what is truth? Truth is not words. Truth is also not information. Truth is energy. And that energy is divinity, the state of being one with the divine. That is truth. And no words can describe it, and no information can really also describe it. It is truly an energy to be in. And we will be learning about this in one of the master classes about the 12 dimensions, and that will be Christ consciousness. So when you embody Christ consciousness, you are embodying the truth. And so it's very powerful energy, and it is all love. And to me, that is a state of truth, when you fully embody your divinity and you realize that you are all love and there is no room for unconsciousness. And with that, I'm going to take you today once again to this portal. And I forgot to put this picture into the video, but Yogananda, obviously, you know, where you live, you're building up energy every single day. Where you go often, you build up energy every single day. We have portals on this planet. And these portals are always portals created by cosmic Mother Nature. And Yogananda, he was given this beautiful land in Encinitas. It's not by coincidence. There is a beautiful portal, of course, in Encinitas. And that portal is where Yogananda's hermitage is. So we will go to that portal. And the portal, if you've been to Encinitas, you can definitely find it not only within his home, the living room, which is a very important place where we always go to burn any unconsciousness. You can do it in one split second, because unconsciousness is very sticky in this world. But also to go outside and to be facing the ocean by his house. And so we will go there today. Now, why does it matter? Well, it does matter, because when you go to these places, whether you go physically or non-physically, it doesn't matter. It will always enhance immensely what it is that you are doing. And because these portals exist, they exist around the world. For example, I often go to a portal at Machu Picchu. I go there energetically, actually, even though I've been there physically. And these portals can take you to higher dimensions. And so this is one of the great portals in Encinitas. We will be working with these beautiful beings. This is pretty much the way that when I see angels, I see them like this. So people would say they have wings. To me, it's always energy flowing around, just like energy is flowing around you. And this step is so powerful. You can do it every single day. I mentioned that Yogananda had me actually do this every single day. And we worked together for 2 years every day. The process is always the same. First, you purify your being. So that's step 1. You approach the fire of God. It's the living fire of God that actually burns energetically in the fireplace in Yogananda's living room. And when you approach the fire, you burn the cloak of the lower human nature, which we have so much of in this world. And you will know when you have been purified, because you will be fully expanded into pure love, into Christ consciousness. And it's going to be a mystical experience you cannot miss. So the next step that he had me do every single day. So this is a process of really 5 steps, even though the 5th step is merging with God. So it's kind of the final one. But he would have me repeat the same thing every day for 2 years. Number 1, purification. Number 2, going to the angelic world. And so I described it exactly the way he gave it to me, and exactly the way he had me do it. And I turned it into a video today. And so I will share the video now. So I'm gonna also, just before we go into it, it's only 8 minutes. These processes can be done in few minutes. Time is absolutely not important, meaning it doesn't matter how long you do it. If you want to do it in 1 minute, you do it in 1 minute. What really is important though, is your strong confidence in that being done. Also using your amazing power of intention. We'll be also doing a masterclass class on how to use the divine mind properly, how not to be in the human brain, but how to use everything properly. And so beings that have this amazing confidence, I mentioned before, they create miracles all the time, because why would there be a delay? So you go into your mind as an architect, you create a vision of what it is that you desire from the bottom of your heart. It always has to be connected to the heart's desire. And then you create it, that's it. You have absolute clarity. You don't go into doubt and you don't go into disbelief. You just know it is done, and so it is. And so that's a state of being. The state of being, also people call it the 0 point. It is the absoluteness within you. And this absoluteness is really important. So when we go into doubt, obviously it distorts our ability to create. And so we want to be in absolute knowing that Yogananda is with us, that Yogananda is really the representative of a great divine lineage, all the way to Divine Mother, all the way to Father God as well, of course. And that these great beings are here to assist every single one of us who showed up, who are devoted to a path of expansion of consciousness. And that means we are restoring our right relationship with cosmic Mother Nature, which is love. So we are truly just becoming more and more and more loving. Today, as we go into this angelic world, you can think of it also as kind of energetic, I think it's called energetic surgery. I think that's what people call it. So you have great beings, you hear about them around the world who are able to do energetic surgeries. And what does it mean? It means that you understand that all is energy, your body's energy, your emotional body, your mental body, your etheric body, it's all energy. And if you shift energy, it basically is like surgery. You remove, restructure, and you improve. You bring health back to your own being. And so that's what these beautiful angelic healers will be doing for us. Now, the fun thing is, when I first entered this world, I was so blown away to actually realize that some of these angelic healers are now in this world, on this planet Earth, as human beings. So they embodied here as humans, but when they are out of body, they go and are of service in the angelic world. So, some people truly are angels embodied here on planet Earth. And I'm sure you know some, and maybe it is you. So I actually, when I started to go there with Yogananda, I met really beings that I knew from this lifetime, and they were there working and helping others to be healed. To me, this healing affects every level of who we are. I always like to focus on the etheric, the emotional, the mental, where we hold the most, unconsciousness, pain, suffering, memories, who knows what, to release it all and become, really, it's truly mastery to be able to let go of all and to embody your own light fully and completely, and to become a Christed being, just like Jesus, for example, did, or Krishna did. We are on that path. Very beautiful. Yes. So I added beautiful music, and when I add music to the videos that I make, I always code the music to have these celestial frequencies. So hopefully this process will be something you enjoy. And let me go into the video that I created here. Welcome to step 2, receiving energy upgrades in the angelic realms. As you completed your purification in step 1, you are now invited to join Master Yogananda to journey into the realms of angels. Purification is required each time before you can enter the realm of angelic beings. So let us proceed with a quick purification process you learned in step 1. As before, enter the living room of Yogananda's hermitage in Encinitas. Approach the golden white fire of God burning in the central fireplace. Remove the brown cloak of your lower human nature that contains all unconsciousness and throw the cloak into the heart of the fire of God for an instantaneous transmutation. Free from the burden of lower energies, you are now ready to follow Yogananda to the portal of light, located right above the cliffs of the Pacific Ocean, in the ocean-facing front yard of Yogananda's hermitage. Standing beside Master Yogananda, above the mystifying glory of the blue ocean, Yogananda opens a tall vortex of light that expands from within Mother Earth upwards like an elevator to the angelic realms. Yogananda steps into the elevator vortex of light, and you join him excitedly. You are about to enter a world full of splendor. The portal between the two worlds is now fully open, and you and the Great Master are elevated higher and higher to the world of magnificent angelic beings. The journey to the angelic realm is almost instantaneous. You are now welcomed by many dozens of angelic healers of rainbow light. These selfless beings will be offering you many gifts of light to upgrade, restructure, evolve, heal, but also to expand and improve your energy field and all your bodies. As you accept this gift of light, you are invited to enter the glorious temples of healing. So many angelic healers work here on so many visitors from other realms, such as planet Earth. You can lay down on one of the crystal healing beds to relax and fully receive all that will be given unto you so freely. There are no limits to how much you can receive. Just relax, let go, trust, and surrender. As you lay down onto the crystal bed, you are surrounded by a team of angelic healers. They will be using color, sound, energy transmissions, crystal and flower essences, sacred geometries, as well as pure life force to heal, transform, and upgrade your many bodies. Your energy field will be completely elevated to a much higher level of consciousness, to a much higher level of vibrancy, aliveness, illumination, and harmony. Surrender to this process, which may take a few moments. Just enjoy and allow this music to relax you even deeper. Keep breathing deeply and joyfully to open up the heart even more. The more you open up, the more you can receive. Receive the fullness of this great celestial gift. The angelic healers are master beings of transmutation and transfiguration. You can watch all the upgrades that are being performed, or you can just keep your eyes closed and relax deeply in a receptive mode. The angelic beings will let you know when the healing and the upgrades have been completed for now. And whenever you are ready, you can step down from the crystal bed and give your gratitude to the angelic healers. They love hugs, as they allow them to transmit even more light and more healing and activating love. Hug the angels and know you can return anytime and as often as you wish to keep working on your energy and your light body. You are always invited to visit again and again to keep expanding and perfecting your light. Yogananda gleefully shows you the way back to the portal that will allow you to re-enter planet Earth in Encinitas, just outside Yogananda's home. You both enter the vortex of light, and this time the interdimensional elevator takes you back to where you started your journey, on the cliffs above the grandiose Pacific Ocean. Enjoy this new state of light. Enjoy your luminosity. Enjoy the light of your divinity. You can repeat step 1 and 2 as much as you desire, and come back for step 3 when you are ready to journey on. May you be eternally blessed for all that you are and all that you do. So that is step 2 complete. And definitely, Bob, thank you for the recommendation. I will definitely then put all the videos together and post them again on YouTube. So this process, what is so incredibly powerful about this process? You know, it always is up to us. So if somebody gives you a breathing technique and they say this will awaken you fully and completely, and if we just practice 1 day, 2 days, you know, we might get some benefit, of course, but it is all about practice. And as you know, and I see some of you like Lynn, who I know practices so much every day. And so, you know, I say I practice this with Yogananda every single day. And of course, it's easier when you made a promise to Yogananda to show up every day. You don't want to skip a day. So, but I want to say, you know, with dedication, with devotion. Yogananda always mentions devotion to me, and when I don't have enough devotion, he comes and lets me know. And I always think, how much more devoted can one be? But devotion is really important, because that means we know our rightful place in the world. So I want to say the power of this. So I met Yogananda in Encinitas, and he said, Adi, I want you to come to this living room every single day, and I will guide you from here every single day. And I had no idea what was going to happen. So every day I went into the living room. He was waiting for me every single day, because in the ethers, you know, people like these masters, they manifest. That's why people can meet them. You meet the person in person. And so every day I sat down across from him by the fireplace. The fire was always burning. It was the living fire of God. And Yogananda always said, okay, the cloak of humanness. And so I would throw my cloak of humanness, that's what he called it, into the fire. And there was always something to burn. And I'm feeling the energy from the angels too so much. It was really beautiful. They are so playful. And we will conclude the call in about 15 minutes. I want to tell a few more stories that you know, for me, the stories, the experiences that I share are so alive. You know, it's not what I read, it's alive. And when it's alive, it affects all of us who are listening. It is, you know, kind of like a transmission of consciousness that awakens us to the highest state of being, of course. And so there I was burning infinitely my humanness. And Yogananda was giving me some teachings while I was burning. And it was always so amazing. And then he says, okay, now you're ready after a while to take step 2. And so step 2, again, first it requires the purification. Then we would go outside, and he showed me the portal, just like I described it in the video. It's 100% how it is. There's a portal that he opens, and it is an elevator, really. And so I hopped in the elevator of light with him, and I didn't know what was going to happen, but that was my first time going into the angelic realm with him. And it was so incredible. And truly, as you have been maybe also yourself, it is the healing temples in these higher dimensions, and they do use all that nature has to offer. It's all about nature and bringing more of that nature into us. And so I did that again for those 2 years, every day, every single day. And these angelic beings are so selfless. They are so unbelievably loving. And one thing I learned from them is that we don't ask them enough to assist us. They are a race of beings, just like we are, you know, human race here. They are the angelic race. They work very, very closely with the elemental queendom, for example. And you will find many elemental beings, kind of like hybrids between angels and also elementals. They can take on both. So you will find that there are beings, and as funny as it sounds, for example, the elemental beings that I met there, they do live in trees. And you would think, well, that would be primitive, living in a tree, but for them it is the best home they can have, is living in a tree. And these trees, of course, are multi-dimensional beings, of course, and so everything works on the principle of nature when you go to these higher dimensions. Now, the lesson that I learned from these angelic beings is there is no limit to what can be done, absolutely no limit. And the only thing is that we must ask. It is absolutely a law. So I said there are no laws, but the law is ask and it is given. And so we ask. And you can ask for anything you want. If you have physical problems, they will assist with those as well, of course. I for example, experienced incredible miraculous healings through angels. And I mean physical healing. And again, there is no problem big enough for them. I mean, is that the word? Nothing is too big. They can handle it all. And so I think pranic healing also, and I speak to them the way I speak to another human being. So just talk to them, and they are just so incredible, and they will do anything for you that you ask for, and so much more, actually. So the way that they work, they do have these crystal beds that you lay upon, and everything is made of nature. And you will see, and to start with, we always use visualization. And there's always the breakthrough moment when the third eye actually opens, and then we see it, and then it's another level. So these I don't have any names for them, except for I call them the angelic healers. So once you enter, they all come to you, and because you come with the Yogananda, that's a big being to guide all this big process. So it's pretty amazing. So with angels, truly, they are very fun beings to work with, as you can imagine. They like to be invited, and I'm looking at the questions and I will answer those. And the thing is, just ask whatever it is, they will find a way. And whatever it is that you're working with in your life, if you find any issues, any unresolved things, you will find solution through the work with the angelic beings. So this video is posted on YouTube. Again, I will actually follow up with an email today to those of you who registered and also put a link. Again, it's the same Zoom link, the same time for tomorrow as well, and the day after. Humans did not mate with animals in Mu at all, actually, and also they didn't mate with each other as far as I remember. So we were very, very etheric beings that actually did embody in an elemental being. So almost you would take the divine self, put the divine self, this beautiful essence, into an elemental form that was very different from the density we are in now. And we were always creating what I would call children, always through love, energy, vibration, geometries, how beings are created in the cosmos. It would be very strange to imagine Divine Mother and Divine Father having sex to create us. So, but that's another story about how sexuality came into being. But, to start with, everything was created through energy, sound, and really color and light and intentions. So, the recording will be posted on YouTube for every day also, and I always keep the practice separate from the video itself. And we will be repeating also at 5 p.m. Pacific. So every day we're doing 2 events. I kind of always bring new information, I hope, and we repeat the same practice. So my memories of Atlantis are very limited. I don't know if I ever actually even lived in Atlantis myself, but I came as part of a group that came to resolve the problems on planet Earth at the end of Atlantis, and we failed. But I remember so many lifetimes from Mu, so many embodiments from Mu, and I can tell you so much about Mu. And I know that the love of Mu is here on planet Earth with us. And that is what love is. It is the original, really, blueprint for creation is love, without any distortions. Yes. And tomorrow, so let me tell you a little bit about tomorrow. Tomorrow we will go to step 3. And now you understand how this works. We always repeat step 1. We always repeat step 2 before we can enter step 3. And this is how the practice always is. We never skip a step. So it's like a pyramid that we are building. And the reason for that is our goal is to have direct contact with God. And that is absolutely possible. And again, I could not teach this if I didn't experience it myself, and I would not want to teach something that didn't lead to the ultimate contact with God. And so I think it's really wonderful that I call it the ordinary human being, doesn't have to be in the Himalayas, can actually experience direct contact with God. And not just in our imagination, but actually completely physically, tangibly, and to be transformed by it, of course. And so step 3 will be a step that we will take tomorrow. I will be working on it today. And again, it will be merging with the next big level of our own being. We are just going through expansion. This expansion has to lead all the way to cosmic consciousness, and it does. And this expansion is the expansion of love. This is the best picture I ever found to actually depict the oversoul that we are actually within. And so tomorrow we will be going into the oversoul. And within the oversoul, we will find great power to create our own life. The day after that, we will be going through step 4 and 5. We will take both steps at the same time, and that is contact with our spirit and contact with God. So I mentioned that Yogananda gave me this amazing confidence one day, and he said, "Creator of all that is, reveal yourself to me." and I'm reading the questions as well, and I will respond to those, especially the one about Divine Mother, and if my husband slept through that. He sleeps through all of it, so it's funny. But anyway, the confidence, the great confidence to call upon the Creator and say, you know what, I have that confidence, I'm your child, reveal yourself to me. So definitely practicing that, so that the Creator of all things can reveal itself, herself, himself to you as well. So I didn't have any expectation actually, and I didn't know what to expect at all, what the Creator of all things will be revealed as. And this is the closest to what I can show you, that the Creator of all things is that big bright light within a rainbow universe. And so I received so much knowledge that night, so much knowledge of creation. It was mind-blowing. It was like understanding how creation is created and what are the most fundamental principles of creation. And I wanted to share with you one of the principles of creation. We live in a world that obviously is created from one source. And then you have the divine feminine and you have the divine masculine, you have divine mother, divine father. But the source itself, it's really the Christed point in the middle. We call it the 0 point, we can call it the source, but there is the center of creation. And that's why we always have all creation has central suns, and then everything revolves around them. This is just a miniature, really, representation of source. So from source, you have the emanation of Divine Mother, emanation of Divine Father. Now it creates duality, of course, but that's a healthy duality. That duality is what creates. When you have this magnetism, which is the plus and the minus, this is in all of creation. That's why, for example, the earth has poles. Also, it creates, you have the north, you have the south. These are magnetic poles. And so creation itself also has magnetic poles. Now, what happened on planet Earth, and I will only speak for a few more minutes, this is really important, is that we started to go to very different distorted duality, and we would call it the duality of good and evil. Once we are in the duality of good and evil, it's not working and nobody likes it, and that's what we are dissolving. We are dissolving it through love. Now, if you can imagine how love dissolves everything back into oneness, this is absolutely the highlight of Ascension teachings, that through love we dissolve all unhealthy, distorted dualities. And that's why Patricia Cota Robles, for example, says, we are offering our love to our brothers and sisters who are still in unconsciousness, because only through love, everyone can find their way home. And so I found this really great Shaolin video that I think I have here, and it's only 1 minute. And this Shaolin master explains it so well. It's exactly the teachings of the Creator that revealed itself to me.
We used to say in our tradition, for example, if something appears in your lifetime that you like, you see something that you like, or you hear something that you like, so something comes there into your lifetime and you like it, then we say, don't pull. Don't pull. If something appears in your lifetime that you don't like, that means that you would normally reject. There we say, don't push. And where does it come from? And in this example, it means if I start to pull it towards me. So I like it. That's why I want to keep it as good as I can, and I want to bring it even closer to me than it really is. Then what is going to happen is one day, when the time comes, whatever you try to pull towards you, it's simply going to move even away from you. At the same time, something comes and you rejected it right from the beginning. It's just a question of time until whatever you push away from you starts to move very close to you.
So this is a great teaching that humanity actually didn't understand, because obviously we all lived with likes and dislikes, and we wanted to pull and push. But the key right now as we go through this ascension process is stop pulling and stop pushing, and to be in the center of the heart, which also is the 0 point, which also is the seat of Christ consciousness, and it is the seat of all love. So when we practice this, we find the place of all love. Some people call it unconditional love, but it really is love that simply is, just like the sun simply is. Then we don't pull and push, and we stop the pendulum from swinging. And this is what Divine Mother wants from us, to stop the pendulum from swinging back and forth, pulling and pushing. Stillness within. Very profound. Who can understand this? It's not easy for the human that we have been in this civilization, but it is mastery that changes everything in our lives. So thank you so much for being here. We will repeat today at 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be more organized and I'll send an email with the recordings, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So thank you so much.